for the rebroadcast on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Chlorodo Bleach is proud to sponsor For the Health of It. Mildew, no problem. Stains, no problem. Whites, no problem. Sanitary cleaning, no problem. Chlorodo Bleach has got you covered. For the ultimate clean, use Chlorodo Bleach. Available at Foster's Food Fair, 2 liters and 1 gallon sizes. Pick up your bottle today.
The ultimate clean is a Chlorodo Clean.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees, so fair. Today is Friday, the 11th day of June, 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Again, those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. You want to be even more cautious when the road surface is wet. And many places on the island this morning, the road surface is wet as well, so you want to ensure that you do not tailgate other vehicles. Give yourself sufficient time to brake, to stop, and you drive at a speed that is convenient or commensurate with the road conditions as well. So whether you're a cyclist, a pedestrian, operating any type of motorized vehicle, please ensure that you observe the rules of the road. And always remember that the life you save may simply be your own. If you're celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. So if you're celebrating one like Miss Lana Ebanks, she's celebrating a birthday, and birthday greetings are coming from Jewel and Shari. Welcome. So again, Miss Lana Ebanks, happy birthday. And those greetings are coming from Jewel and Shari. Welcome. Happy birthday to you. If you have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you, and we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing as well. For those of you who may be a little bit under the weather, as old time saying in the Cayman Islands, being a little bit under the weather, and whether you're at home or at a medical facility, we want to wish for you a speedy recovery. as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Art Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. The radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paula Cowell, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Of course, this weekend is a long weekend. The Queen's birthday celebrations will take place. Of course, this year, the ceremony and everything will take place at Government House on Monday afternoon. And we've gone back to Monday to be able to accommodate all persons of the various religious persuasions and everything. So that will take place on Monday, and I'm sure that you will hear more announcements on Radio Cayman in that regard as well. A little bit of history to share with you. On the 16th of June, 1966, the Queen's birthday celebrations that was held, this is the Tradewinds newspaper, that was held that year, was rained out. Of course, it was taking place at the Princess Royal Park. And for those of you Johnny-come-latelys and younger folks, the Princess Royal Park is the location now where our Parliament building is located. And they had to switch then to go into the town hall for the celebrations. And this article talks about John A. Cumber, who was the administrator at that time. And his car drove right up to the steps of the town hall to drop him off. And the reporter talks about the fact that due to the fact that Mr. Cumber had such long legs, he was able to just walk straight over the puddle of water and step right into onto the porch of the town hall. And, of course, that year, the persons who received the honors were John A. Cumber, the administrator, and Mr. Clarence Thompson as well. And Mr. Clarence Thompson was jack of all trades. Really, those days you did a lot in terms of government. And so he was awarded the Imperial Service Order, ISO, Mr. Clarence Vernon Thompson, and the administrator was awarded the Order of St. Michael and St. George, the CMG. Give you a little information about Mr. Clarence Thompson. Mr. Clarence Vernon Thompson, he was born in the Cayman Islands in 1909, educated in Grand Cayman and Jamaica. Prior to joining the government service, He spent some years at sea, like all of us, Doc. Spent some years at sea, and also in Haiti. Yes, at sea and in Haiti. In 1940, he joined the post office as a wireless operator, and within 5 years, he was appointed assistant postmaster. A few years later, he was promoted to the office of postmaster of the Cayman Islands, where he remained until the end of December 1965, when he was transferred to the Customs Department as collector of customs and receiver of wrecks. Throughout his service, Clarence Vernon Thompson has showed outstanding qualities. During World War II, when still a very junior officer, he was primarily responsible for the maintenance of vital radio communications from the Cayman Islands to Jamaica and the United States of America, and his efficiency as a wireless operator and his ability to improvise earned him rapid promotion to assistant postmaster during his years as assistant postmaster. During his years as assistant postmaster and subsequently as postmaster, he reorganized the territory's postal and telegraph service and did his utmost to ensure that the three islands were linked to each other and to the rest of the world by a telephone system. Many years passed before his plans for a telephone system could be implemented, but work on the installation of the new system started before he was transferred to the Customs Department at the end of 1965. In addition to his duties as head of department, his knowledge of survey methods, Okay, I'm going to stop there for now because I have to find the rest of the article. So when we return, we're going to talk about what he knew about survey methods and everything. Doc, I'm sure that you know much about Mr. Clarence Thompson as well. Good morning, sir. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
And good morning to all your listeners and for the Record Land and all the people in the Cayman diaspora and all the listeners listening to your program around the world, locally and around the world. Yes, Mr. Clarence Thompson. One of the things that you probably might not know is that he was one of the local land surveyors too.
Yes.
And I remember he, in those days, when you needed to define the size of your property, you would call Mr. Clarence Thompson, and not only would he survey, but they would make a map. You would make a sketch of where your land was button and binding, because we did not have block and parcel numbers in those days.
Right.
And speaking about that, one of the men also who some people we now call it surveying the land, but in those days some people call it sharing the land.
Okay.
And one of those people who were a land sharer that could come in and put down the stakes of where your boundaries were Mr. Ashley Godfrey. Also, he was one of those people too that you had to summons him to put down the stakes around your property to see where your property was button and binding the other person's property, and he would make a sketch of your property, and then that was taken down to the registry and registered in the big book that they registered everything, because all the deeds and titles and stuff were registered in a big book. There was not a proper land registry system then, and you could go down there and you could see who owns the land, and in those days you would have to do something to get good title. You would have to go do something what they call search the title, search to see who the title was had originated from, and how it had passed on to the particular new owner now, because sometimes the title was not clear who actually owned the land. Because remember now, in those days we had what we call family land.
Yes.
Yes, and I think there's a photograph I can't remember if you showed it to me or someone showed it to me several days ago or a week ago or something, where so many houses on one property, and but there's only one title to the property. But the father would build a house here, his son would go to sea and build a house next door to him, and his sister would build a house next door to him, and his daughter would build a house next door to them, and they all live in one area.
Yes. And we still have some of that today, right?
Yes. So Mr. Clarence was also, like you said, one of the wireless operators at the wireless station. You used to call it in those days, at the wireless station, which was not too far from here.
Yeah, and there was a Cuban named Felix who used to run that. I saw an article on the trade winds and that.
That's right.
I have to go to the commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Edna Moyle is the mother of 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls. She served in several positions within government, in the governor's office, and in the Legislative Assembly, rising to the position of deputy clerk. She was a parliamentarian for over 11 years and represented Cayman at many Commonwealth Parliamentary Association conferences. She was the first parliamentarian to bring women's issues before the legislature, which resulted in the creation of a women's desk within the Ministry of Community Affairs. Ms. Moyle was a leader in the Girls Brigade and was involved in the initiation of scouting in Northside. She was also a guiding force in Hands Across Cayman, the fundraising effort that supported the establishment of the Sunrise Adult Training Center.
Rotary Central and you, our valued community, have undertaken remarkable accomplishments since October 1986. Over 34 years of activity and projects, making lives better and moving our beloved Cayman forward. Rotary Central has yet again committed to the advancement of these islands, this time in the area of mental health. We are proud to announce our partnership with Loud Silent Voices and donation of $50,000 to provide a community home for those recovering from various mental illnesses. Rotary Central and Loud Silent Voices, a signature project, taking care of the vulnerable, helping families manage, more than a shoulder, more than a helping hand, literally calming the storm. Rotary Central, care in every effort, sweat in every project, every dollar planted back in the community with your help. Rotary opens opportunities.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamt Motors on Walkers Road.
Time to lace up your sneakers and hit the road for the first ever Botanic Park Queen's Birthday 5K. Come out to the park on June 13th and help raise money for the Children's Garden Development. Your $25 fee includes a t-shirt, breakfast, and a chance to win in our prize draw. But there's more. You can win a prize and take home the bragging rights for the best Royal Fascinator design. Register now for the Botanic Park Queen's Birthday 5K at racecaribbean.net. This ad is sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. I'm going to conclude this portion about the Queen's birthday honors in 1966 and the story about Mr. Clarence Thompson receiving his award. So it says, in addition to his duties as the head of department, his knowledge of survey methods enabled him to accept responsibility for work in connection with Crown lands and the mapping of the Cayman Islands, which he undertook with his customary attention to detail. Throughout 26 years of service, this officer, that is Mr. Clarence Thompson, has been admired for his integrity and ability, and this together with his work as an elder of the local Presbyterian Church has won him the respect of his fellow Caymanians and all who have worked with him as well. So that's Mr. Clarence Thompson on that particular date. And in another year, we had other birthday honors as well. And the following year it was our national hero, Honorable Sybil McLaughlin, and Mr. Justice Horsfall received their awards in 1967.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when they received theirs as well.
Mr. Justice Horsfall was the Grand Court judge at the time.
Yes.
He was also magistrate and Grand Court judge, I think, at one time.
Yep.
We only had one Grand Court judge on those days.
Yeah. He was called a stipendiary magistrate.
That's right, yes.
Stipendiary magistrate, right? and Ms. Sybil was the clerk of the Assembly as well as the clerk of the Executive Council as
yes.
well. And Judge Horsfall, he received the CBE, and our national hero, she received the MBE. And let's see if I have enough time that I can share this with you. Educated at the then Government Elementary School in Grand Cayman and at the Baptist College of Managua, Nicaragua, Central America. Sybil Ione McLaughlin joined the Cayman Islands Civil Service at an early age, and 13 years later, as a result of her ability, she had risen through the service to the post of personal secretary to the administrator. In 1959, she was selected for the post of clerk of the Legislative Assembly, which fell vacant in that year. I'm curious to know who may have vacated that post. I'll have to do some research on that, Doc. Says throughout the 21 years of devoted service to the government of the Cayman Islands, Mrs. McLaughlin has shown outstanding resourcefulness and initiative, and many innovations in the office of the Clerk of the Legislative Assembly are a direct result of her planning and efficiency. In the last 5 years, the volume of work at the legislature and in the Executive Council has increased considerably, and Mrs. McLaughlin has not only shouldered this additional burden of responsibility, but she has also rendered a greatly improved service to members of the Legislative Assembly. In 1965, Mrs. McLaughlin was mainly instrumental in arrangements which resulted in the training of 2 Caymanians as stenotypists in Jamaica, and on their return in the middle of 1966, she made preparations for the production of a local Hansard of the Assembly's proceedings in January 1967. Therefore, this territory's first verbal record of the legislature's deliberations was produced. So, see, instrumental in introducing the Hansards. And subsequent meetings will receive the same coverage. Her duties as clerk of the Legislative Assembly have been exemplary, and dignified, and the dignity of the House has been aided by her strict adherence to correct procedures and the introduction of a wig and a gown to her office in the Legislative Assembly. In 1965, a branch of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association was formed in the Cayman Islands, and Mrs. McLaughlin was appointed as its honorary secretary. I'm going to stop there because we've reached the top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. But just sharing some of those awardees, 1966 and 1967 Queen's Birthday honors. And like I said, this weekend, actually on Monday, we will have those ceremonies again, and persons will be awarded given their awards as well. Folks, when we return, Dr. Mark Field is in the studio with us, and as we promised on Wednesday, we're going to look at the recommendations that were made by the Commonwealth election observers in 2013, 2017, and the new recommendations that have been made after the April general elections here in the Cayman Islands. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's. When you're on the go, let the Island Supermarket shop for you.
To start, head to fosters.ky/go.
Then shop all of your favorite products online, from produce and seafood to grocery and frozen, all picked by our team of shoppers ready to go.
Choose next day curbside pickup from Foster's Camana Bay or delivery island-wide.
To get your order started, visit fosters.ky/go.
This is Groceries on the Go.
And we are Foster's Go. Shop online anytime.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. A series of public meetings this week focused on the 9 new waste management facilities making up RenGen, Cayman's new energy and recycling center. CIGTV's Donna Bush reports.
It's all part of the environmental impact assessment for the project. Now, the draft terms of reference, which will act as a roadmap for the environmental studies that form the EIA, have been published. Prior to publishing, the draft terms of reference were agreed by the project's Environmental Assessment Board, which includes representatives from the Department of Environment, Department of Environmental Health, Department of Planning, National Roads Authority, and Water Authority Cayman. The environmental impact assessment will focus on the design and impact of the 9 planned RenGen facilities. Located south of the existing landfill in Grand Cayman, the facilities include an energy recovery facility and additional recycling infrastructure.
Remediation work began in March 2021 with scheduled completion by 2023. The Tropical Vision exhibition, which you may remember seeing on your occasional stroll around Camana Bay, has found a new home after Providence Properties recently donated the art pieces to Public School John A. Cumber.
Our donation to Sir John A. Cumber Primary School allows us to support the next generation of Cayman's artists and art appreciators. Through the donation, we're also encouraging and supporting children's love of art and their interest in attending and perhaps participating in future art exhibits. It's a meaningful way for us to continue to share the value of art and culture.
Senior Marketing Communications Coordinator with DART, Alana Warwick-Smith, adds that the frames used in the exhibition will be donated to the National Gallery, who originally held the Tropical Vision exhibit in their facility. In regional news, Jamaica's Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says that as more Jamaicans get fully vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus, more of the current restrictions to slow the spread of the virus locally may be relaxed, as has been proposed in the United States. He says, quote, "We do not anticipate that we are going to be living in this environment forever. The idea is to manage the risk, overcome the risk, and hopefully over time, and given all measures to include the vaccines, eliminate the risk." He says, quote, "We need to reach herd immunity and we need to vaccinate 1.9 million of the population." Tufton's comments follow a revelation from Dr. Jacqueline Bisesor-McKenzie, the Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, that approximately 93% of Jamaica's targeted population for COVID-19 inoculation has not taken up the vaccine. Bisesor-McKenzie said, quote, "We do not have persons coming out, especially in the over 60 population, to get their first doses of the vaccine." Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith.
The head of the biggest global vaccine alliance has warned that coronavirus jabs promised to the world's poorest countries will not be enough to end the pandemic and could arrive too late to stop the spread of COVID variants. Seth Berkley urged G7 leaders meeting at a summit in Britain to offer more than the 1 billion doses they're expected to pledge. The UN Human Rights Chief says she fears imminent further bloodshed and suffering in Myanmar, where the army is building up forces against rebel groups. Michelle Bachelet said heavy weaponry was being used and civilians targeted. The UN Children's Agency says around 30,000 severely malnourished children in Ethiopia's war-torn region of Tigray are at risk of death. It appealed for more humanitarian access to the area after months of conflict. The ex-chief of the Israeli spy agency Mossad has given an account of how it stole a vast archive of secret Iranian nuclear documents. Yossi Cohen said 20 agents launched a nighttime raid on a warehouse in Tehran in 2018. Muslim groups in New Zealand have voiced their worries over plans to make a film about the massacre at 2 mosques in Christchurch in 2019. One religious leader said there were still too many sensitivities around the incident. 51 people were killed by a white supremacist. China has released the first 4 images of Mars taken by an exploratory spacecraft it sent there. They show a panoramic view of the landing site on a vast Martian lava plain. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. News is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended August 31st, various life cycle funds provided returns between 9.2% and 16.5%, and our all-in expense ratio is currently the lowest it's ever been, a record low at 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
With Logic, you get more things you do want, like faster fiber internet, more TV, entertainment, and better customer service. And you get less of the things you don't want, like waiting, boredom, and disappointment. More of the good, less of the bad. It just makes sense. Or should I say, it's logical. See what I did there? Call us or go to logic.ky to find out how you could be getting way more of what's good.
Rotary Central and you, our valued community, have undertaken remarkable accomplishments since October 1986. Over 34 years of activity and projects, making lives better and moving our beloved Cayman forward. Rotary Central has yet again committed to the advancement of these islands, this time in the area of mental health. We are proud to announce our partnership with Loud Silent Voices and donation of $50,000 to provide a community home for those recovering from various mental illnesses. Rotary Central and Loud Silent Voices, a signature project, taking care of the vulnerable, helping families manage, more than a shoulder, more than a helping hand, literally calming the storm. Rotary Central, care in every effort, sweat in every project, every dollar planted back in the community with your help. Rotary opens opportunities.
As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Did you know you must ensure all utensils are washed with detergent and rinsed with hot water if they make contact with flood water? For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
All right, good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your latest weather. Present temperature 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Conditions are partly cloudy, but it feels like about 93. Winds are out of the north at 4 miles per hour. Relative humidity 94%. Last night's dew point was at 79, not 75. Barometric pressure is at 29.94 inches and holding it. Isolated showers with light easterly winds and seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with some upper-level divergence over the northwest Caribbean. Our forecast for today, partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 40% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. And later tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of overnight showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're in a low tide. High tide is coming up at 9:14 this morning. It's going to be low at 4:03 this afternoon and high at 11:13 tonight. For tomorrow, low tide is at 5:16 a.m., high at 9:52 a.m., low at 4:35 p.m., and high at 11:48 p.m. Your sunset this Friday evening is at 7:02. Sunrise for tomorrow, Saturday at 5:48. And the outlook is for similar weather conditions through Sunday morning. That's your latest weather right here at Radio Cayman.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, break it down.
Once the long-term goals are set, work backwards to set smaller and more manageable goals. These should be specific, measurable, and achievable. For example, study in the library for 1 hour 3 times per week instead of study more. Consider what you need to do daily, weekly, or by the end of the year in order to succeed. Smaller goals allow you to focus on the essential steps today to ensure you are prepared when tomorrow's opportunities become available.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, good morning, my friends. Let's take a look at the latest traffic situation at the moment. Coming out of the east-west arterial, traffic is still moving slowly, but not as congested as before. But the congestion is at the roundabout just outside Hurley's there as you make way onto Shamrock Road. For those of you going through South Sound, expect that slow-paced traffic as well. Continuing along Shamrock Road onto the Linford-Pearson Highway, traffic is moving very slowly. So expect maybe 25 to 30 minutes before making your way into Georgetown, similar with Crew Road. And Huldah Avenue looking busy as usual with northbound bound traffic. Of course, West Bay Road also busy with inward bound traffic into Georgetown, especially along the North Church Street area. Look here, Godfrey Nixon Way getting busy. Edward Street, Shedden Road getting busy. Most streets in Georgetown busy at the moment. Remember, roads are slick and wet, so be careful out there. Traffic report brought to you by our friends at Subway.
Things just got a bit hotter on the island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Celebrate the Queen's birthday weekend by taking part in the Botanic Park's 5K Run Walk. Come out to the park on Sunday, June 13th and help raise funds for the Children's Garden Development. Your $25 fee includes a t-shirt, breakfast, and a chance to win in our prize draw. Enter the Royal Fascinator Design Challenge and take home the trophy for the best design. The Botanic Park's Queen's Birthday 5K, Sunday, June 13th. Register now at racecaribbean.net.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism, Cayman National Bank, Water Authority Cayman, Coca-Cola, Fidelity, and High Impact Media.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years, ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Dr. Steve McField. And Doc, we're going to talk about the election observer mission. I just want to finish the section on or national hero, Honorable Sybil McLaughlin.
Arun McLaughlin.
Yes. And just need to find that particular document. That was 1967. Okay, yes. So it says in May of 1967, the 5th Caribbean Regional Conference of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association was held in the Cayman Islands, and much of the credit for this honor and for the many administrative arrangements which preceded it belonged to Mrs. McLaughlin, whose work towards this end has been tireless. Goes on to say that according to the United Kingdom branch of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Mrs. McLaughlin is the only substantive lady clerk of the legislature in the Commonwealth, and the uniqueness of this distinction is recognized. Goes on to say that Sybil Ione McLaughlin is happily married with 2 teenage sons, and in spite of her numerous official duties and her husband's absence at sea in the Merchant Navy, she devotes much of her remaining time to voluntary social activities, including membership of the Public Library Committee. Her outstanding example has won her the respect of her civil service colleagues and her fellow Caymanians, and her work continues to make a valuable contribution towards the development of these islands. So, Doc, that is what national heroes are made of. That's what they're made of.
That's what they're made of.
Make their mark, and
you notice, OC, Orit, that the newspaper carries the story. The newspapers in those days carry the stories about people and enhanced or enlightened kept the society enlightened about things that they did and things that they were doing. That's not what happens today in the newspaper. You don't see those kinds of write-ups in the newspaper about individuals today in the media. It's all about sensational news, and it's all about things that are happening bad. But there are very little stories or narratives about the great things that people are doing and people have done, and therefore the younger generations are not informed. I'll bet you right now for some I'll wager my bet for you, right? I would put it that way, that not too many people know that there was a newspaper in 1966, and that this is the kind of reporting that occurred at that period in our time. Not too many people know that. You and I know that because we are students of history, and we and that's our great love, to see where we came from, to see where we are and where we are going.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I always like, even when I'm not on the show, to hear you go back to the old newspapers that gave us so much information about individuals and things that they were doing, and not about how much money people were making and so forth.
Yep. Okay. So before we go on to these Election Observer reports, I just want to say that there's a special celebrating a birthday on the 15th of this month. Next week, Miss Reba Dilbert will be celebrating a birthday. So we have birthday greetings and recognition coming from her sister, Ms. Esme Smith, as well. So, Doc, Commonwealth, the Election Observer missions into the Cayman Islands commenced. The first one was for the 2013 elections, and a Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, British Islands and Mediterranean Region Elections Observer Mission was deployed to the Cayman Islands between the 16th and 27th of May 2013. following an invitation from the governor of the Cayman Islands and with the agreement of the government and the Legislative Assembly. The election observer mission was composed of 6 observers deployed to all districts in the Cayman Islands. The observer mission was comprised of the Honorable Mario Galea, a member of Parliament and the head of the mission, and he was from Malta. Miss Margaret Mitchell, member of the Scottish Parliament from Scotland. Senator Philip Ossoff of Jersey. Speaker Honorable Randolph Horton, JP MP from Bermuda. Miss Fern Narcis, Legal Officer, Trinidad and Tobago, and Miss Juanita Barker, Legal Officer from Guyana. And the election observer mission was further supported by 2 election analysts and an election administrator. The remit of the election observer mission was to assist the electoral process in accordance with international commitments for elections, as well as the laws of the Cayman Islands. The mission was independent in its findings and conclusions and adhered to the Declaration of Principles for International Election Observation signed at the United Nations in October of 2005. They organized 2 press conferences to issue the introductory press release on the 17th of May and a preliminary report on the 24th of May. In general, the mission enjoyed a high visibility in the local media as well as amongst the general public. And we know that there were mixed reactions to having an electoral, an election mission in the Cayman Islands. Some people looked at it and said, well, is something wrong with the elections in the Cayman Islands? Why they have to come to observe us? And many people were of that opinion, while those who understand the whole purpose of a mission is really to validate what is taking place. And if there's good things taking place, then they will validate them and will report them as well. Anything to add to that, Doc?
Well, also too, you remember the electoral the climate at that time was not so even. I mean, and it was not so calm. And there was a lot of fear about the election coming in. Remember now, we had a premier for the first time in 2009, and there was a lot of controversy around that premier. You remember what happened? There was a trial and all that sort of stuff, and people were fearful that something might go on, in the dark. And so that's why all of those high level people were brought in to the country to assure that the election was going to go smooth. But fortunately for us, we are election abiding people, and the election went smoothly, as it had done before. Every 3 or 4 years when we had our election period, there was no controversy and the election run smooth, and so a lot of people, especially after the election, say there was no need to bring all of those people here, and then most of the remarks were not only before the election came, but after the election came as to why those people were necessary here, because we were, like as we say, we were election abiding people, and we were not going to have an election system where it was disruptive and where there was riots and where there was corruption in the election process. So that was one of the reasons. That was the talk then. Like, why are these people here? That was the talk then, and of course, you see by their report that their report was for reform, but their report was for reform in a positive manner, not a negative, not a manner about negative things that they saw in the election.
Okay, we have to take a commercial break now. We do have a caller. We will take that caller as soon as we return from the break, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Time to lace up your sneakers and hit the road for the first ever Botanic Park Queen's Birthday 5K. Come out to the park on June 13th and help raise money for the Children's Garden Development. Your $25 fee includes a t-shirt, breakfast, and a chance to win in our prize draw. But there's more. You can win a prize and take home the bragging rights for the best Royal Fascinator design. Register now for the Botanic Park Queen's Birthday 5K at racecaribbean.net. This ad is sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
Cybercrime happens online or through the technology we use every day. Anyone can be a victim of cybercrime, whether you are a young person being bullied or harassed online, or an older person or business who's been scammed out of money or personal data. Cybercrime is an issue that touches all of us. The Cayman Islands government has therefore created an online resource to help keep you cyber safe in an ever-changing world.
In online situations, it is better to be cyber safe than sorry. Learn now to protect yourself against cybercrime. Visit gov.ky/cybersafe.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. Before I go to the caller, I want to say that Mrs. Carmen Wilson Hanlon, good friend of many, she will be celebrating her birthday on the 14th. So we're wishing her a happy birthday today because, of course, Monday's a holiday. So For the Record will not be back on the air until Wednesday of next week. So we want to wish her a happy birthday. And this is a lady who knows everybody's birthday, and she's always contacting them. And I don't believe that she uses any computer or her phone to store the dates of people's birthdays or anything. She just knows them all, and she will always get in touch with you or send you a gift or send you a message wishing you a happy birthday. So we all need to say to Miss Carmen a happy birthday on the 14th of this month as well. A beautiful lady, God-fearing lady, really churchgoer, family lady as well, Miss Carmen Wilson Hanlon as well. And so we want to wish her a happy birthday. Let's go to the phone lines as promised. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, also Billy Sinamba here, and good morning to Dr. Steve.
Morning,
Good
Billy.
morning, Mr. Billy, my good friend. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. It's very good always to listen to the historical side of Cayman, and I enjoy particularly those little things they're doing now. like picking one item, one person, one distinguished person, and saying something about that is very good.
Yes.
I also, I've also listened with interest to your chat about elections, and I think your explanation really was very good, because you see, it's interesting that a lot of people thought that you don't need observers if your elections are well conducted, which is the case in Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in every system, you manage your democratic system, okay? You observe the elections not because there may be something wrong, but because occasionally there might be a little dispute, or you want to keep improving it. And a lot of people forget that even in the United States, the most advanced democracy on earth, you have people out there sometimes who challenge elections.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had now the biggest ever in history challenge of elections today, and they're still talking about it. So we have to remember that it is just part of the management of your system, not because you are saying your system is bad. I know there are some countries out there where observers are really necessary because there are some people who are just stealing elections, but that's not Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
No. But I was very, very quickly. I was wondering whether you were planning to say something about this. I know you've set your subject matters for today, but were you planning to say something about the landmark case regarding the rights of way and the
Yes.
You must be reading our minds,
yes,
because I forwarded
yes.
that information
Yes.
to Macfield a few days ago as well, and we thought that that was like you said, a landmark decision there. Can you tell us some of the implications based on what you've read so far about it?
Well, I haven't read all of it, but I've read it, and I've read parts of it to just try to get the essence of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very significant. You see, it has affirmed, I think in the most significant way than ever before, it has affirmed that when you use a place, a right of way, access to a particular place for 20 years, you have a prescriptive right. That is as originally enacted in England, but also as repeated in our own prescription law.
Mm-hmm.
And what they have emphasized is that even if you haven't registered that right yet, and this is something Dr. Steve has been saying for a long time, even if it is not registered, so long as you have the evidence to show that you have actually satisfied those requirements, that's what gives you the right. The registration is just a safe way of doing it so that, you can deal with the evidentiary aspect of it. Because if it is registered, then you say, but it is registered. But if it's not registered, then if there's a dispute, then you wind up where these homeowners have wound up, like you wind up going to court to fight it. And to me, you see, what it has also emphasized is that it is very expensive to have to fight these in the courts of law. And the last government, I think, made a terrible mistake when the issue arose that about 500 affidavits were sworn way back, even before I got a little involved with the issue, and about 200 rights of way it is thought were proven. Instead of registering them, they decided, let's establish the Public Lands Commission so that if anybody wants to dispute a right of way, they can go to court. But do you see how expensive it is to go to court?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, Billy. And so let me ask you then. I haven't read the case thoroughly. I just glanced over it. So you are of the opinion then that Judge Siegel has laid down the law that those rights are prescriptive rights and they're not necessarily contractual rights from the purchase of the properties. The rights doesn't follow. The rights doesn't follow, and that the rights that those homeowners can run with the land, and therefore the new owner cannot distinguish those rights because they run with the land.
Well, you have now just put it the way that the textbook would put it, Dr. Maxfield, and you are so right about it. It runs with the land. once it is with the land, then it doesn't matter who owns it. It's what is called, I think you've explained this before, it's these are rights in rem.
That's right.
Rights in personam, and I know that's what you were referring to.
Yes.
And that is very important. And so I think that the new government now should look at the whole issue of beach access and wonder whether the solution that they just suggested, which was that if you've got a dispute, go to court, whether that is something that will work. I understand in this case, I don't have any official figures, they spent almost $1.3 million in terms of money, and the lawyers involved were something like 10 or 12 lawyers involved. Can you imagine? And how many people, for example, if they've got a small right-of-way in North Side, in West Bay, and so on, can afford to go to court and employ 10 or 12 lawyers to have that right recognized, which is what government was saying should be done. So I think the new government should look at that, the implications of that decision, re-look at that whole issue of the rights of way which were supposed to be registered, instead of like the last government which was making an excuse. Actually, the last government was saying that some of those affidavits actually were expired and that they had to be sworn again. And I just think the last government was being dishonest. But I wish that you could maybe in a later program be able to really feature that one and be able to educate the public and know that this is an opportunity they need to seize so that beach accesses can be protected much more easily.
And when you look at our law in relation to those beach accesses, Mr. Billy, that original law was enacted in 1882.
Yes.
And which gave prescriptive rights, not only prescriptive but indefeasible right, right, absolute and indefeasible. That means it cannot ever be extinguished once the 20 years has elapsed since the use of that land, the beach for fishing, bathing, whatever. The prescription rights were for, and it went on to say, and a pathway there too. Also, once it was used for 20 years, and I do not understand why, as long as you had the affidavit says yes, we use it for 20 years. Why is it that it could not be registered? I just do not understand that at all. I scratch my head sometimes and say it's so simple that if you have a right over another landowner's property to get to your house, and you've been using that, the registrar, the lands would quickly register that easement over that person's land to get to your own house. So why is it that they refuse to do it to get to the beach?
Exactly, and then they say that if you want to assert that right, you should go to the Public Lands Commission and ask them to give you money so that you go to court. Why do you want to do that? Why don't you just recognize the right?
So what does the Public Lands Commission has to do with that, really?
Well, they said that the Public Lands Commission, first of all, it will be helping government implement the beach access rights, and then the Public Lands Commission can find money to give you so that you can go and fight it in court.
Absolute nonsense.
Of course it is. Of course it is. So I really think that this, I mean, I've been involved in this thing now for the last maybe a couple of years and so on, when I was working with the Concerned Citizens Group and so on. And I've learned a lot from people like Mr. Billy Adam, Miss Alice Mako in West Bay, Miss Annie Moulton, Desmond Smith, and all those. They've taught me a lot about it, and I have become, frankly, I must admit, I've become very passionate about it. I think the new government needs to relook at it and make it easy now. One last point. Now, I know that part of the problem, they don't want to give accesses where they have not been established. But that is an evidentiary point. And nobody says that when those affidavits were filed, that they should just blindly register them. They should examine each one, and wherever it is proved, then they register it. But they shouldn't say we just want to register them at all, because that becomes a problem. And there are so many other problems here, and I think also the Attorney General needs to assist a little bit better in terms of being able to give the right advice. Because very quickly again, because it's a wide topic, when people appealed the Concerned Citizens Group, they appealed the decision of the registrar not to register those rights. And according to the law, since the appeal was not successful, it was the duty of the registrar now to send the matter to the Grand Court under Section 147 of the Registered Land Law.
That's right.
So that a decision could be made. And they refused to do that. They said, well, the Concerned Citizens Group had to do that. But the time had expired. So they were playing games. I think that it's time now that a policy decision should resolve this. Not a legal issue of going to court. A policy decision implemented and directed to the registrar to register those rights that are proven. Thanks very much. I appreciate you've given me so much a long time, but I really appreciate it very much.
Thank you. It's a very important case. I've said your time is where it's not precious. It's necessary.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Billy. Thank you very much. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve Macfield will continue, so please stay tuned.
Time to lace up your sneakers and hit the road for the first ever Botanic Park Queen's Birthday 5K. Come out to the park on June 13th and help raise money for the Children's Garden Development. Your $25 fee includes a t-shirt, breakfast, and a chance to win in our prize draw. But there's more. You can win a prize and take home the bragging rights for the best Royal Fascinator design. Register now for the Botanic Park Queen's Birthday 5K at racecaribbean.net. This ad is sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve. Before we go back over to the Election Observer report, the one for the 2013 general elections, one of our listeners, and we're talking about the Tradewinds newspaper and their reporting as well. And this listener said that some 40 years ago that they saved an elderly woman and a little girl from a burning house in Northwest Point, and that this information can be found at the National Archives. Those days, the Northwester paper was printed back in 1981 as well. Of course, I'm not sure whether or not the person was given any sort of award for saving persons, but at least he was, whomever it was, they were recognized in the Northwester newspaper. So, the 2013 Election Observer report, we have pointed out the membership of that Election Observer report. And rather than going into the details of the report, we're going to look at the various recommendations that were made, Doc. And the preface to those recommendations, it says that in order to improve future electoral processes in the Cayman Islands, this is in 2013 now, remember, the Election Observer Mission would like to offer for consideration the following recommendations. The one on equal suffrage says that the equal suffrage principle of one person, one vote, or equal number of votes could be achieved by introducing an electoral system with single-member constituencies or multi-member constituencies with equal number of elected members of the Legislative Assembly. The newly defined constituencies should contain, as far as possible and practicable, the same number of inhabitants and registered electors. Now, this one you know a whole lot about, Doc, because you were a member of the Electoral Boundaries Commission in the Cayman Islands.
That's right. I was one of the commissioners, along with Ms. Adriana Webb and Dr. Hadley from Washington, D.C.
Yes.
And we established this recommendation. That had been established since this recommendation was made. And single member constitution. And I'm happy to inform those EOM, if some of them are still alive and if they're listening, and to anyone who it's interested, that not only that we define the constituencies as far as possible with the same number of inhabitants and registered electors, but we did it less than 5% ratio, plus or minus.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that was a great achievement to be able to do that, to split up the constituencies from 5 electoral constituencies to 19 electoral constituencies, and the ratio of electors and registered and of inhabitants and registered electors are less than 3% difference.
Of course, the difficulty we had was basically an east end and north side with
Well, we couldn't do anything about that because it was such a large area and only a small number of inhabitants and electors, and we decided to leave it the way it was, because to have divided that into the constituencies. And remember what the Constitution says, that we had to abide by the old boundaries as far as possible, and that's what we did. Took us into account. So what we did, we sorted the sister islands, or the islands. We sorted those out into 2 constituencies.
Right, and that was,
and Cayman Brac East and Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. And we left North Side and East End the way they were.
Okay. We do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
This is Georgette Ebanks.
Good morning, Miss Georgette. How are you, ma'am?
Special good morning to my good friend, Dr. Steve McField.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
As I just told my good friend, Mr. Paul, I'm wonderful. I'm alive. And guess what I'm eating?
Oh, yes.
Cornmeal porridge.
Yes, you're a remarkable specimen. Madam, you're a remarkable specimen. I think you should go to the Guinness Book of Records.
But thanks for your kind words. But I am so grateful to God that years ago, when the beach was there, it was always there. God put it there. My friends and I, Phyllis, down a little. My friends and I, the only thing we didn't do on the 7 Mile beach was sleep there in the night. We would go up during holidays. We would go with our teachers early in the morning. We would take corned beef sandwiches and lemonade and cupcakes, and it was wonderful. And the only thing on that 7 Mile beach at that time, Mr. O.C. and Dr. Steve, was one little wooden bathhouse.
Yep.
With a side for the women and a side for the men. And on a moonlight night, and the moonlight would sparkle on the water, all of us, we didn't know all these sophisticated names that you all learn later on, you young people. We used to call them the sea lights. That was plankton, and then the moon would shine on it. But I'm going to say it, and those who like it, it'll be all right. And those who don't like it, that's their business. Our beaches have been stolen from us. And I don't have anything else to say. Imagine the beautiful beach that was there, that everyone who lives on this island, whether you're born Caymanian or you've been adopted and called Paper Caymanian. Now, you're going back on the beach now, you're being driven off like you were a biting dog walking on the beach or something. Anyway, one thing that makes me feel happy, in the Bible, I'm sure you young men have read the Bible at times, or someone read it for you. Did you ever see in the Bible where it said, and it came to stay? Never, ever. No matter how good it was, it always passed.
Yes,
and
yes.
This too
shall
will
pass.
Yes. Miss Georgette, could I ask you a question?
Oh, of course,
Okay. The little wooden bathhouse was on government land. Do you know who built it? Was it the government that built it to facilitate the use of the beach?
It was on the beach. How could the beach belong to government when God made the beach?
Yes.
And this little thing that we call the island of Grand Cayman, it's just a little atoll that is poking up out of the ocean. And I mean, sometimes I, with God's help, I'm trying to serve Him. But Mr. O.C. and Dr. Steve, it's hard at times. Because when I think how some of our born fellow Caymanians want to treat us, it really pains my old heart. I am so thankful to God that if He spares my life, on the 19th day of September, I will be 94 years old.
Wow.
And all you little young people, and those even younger than you think you know everything. But remember this, I only have one grandson, Jason Lee Henry, and he and I both believe that every thought, long before we ever think it, God knows we're going to think it. So I leave it all in God's hands. He's the great creator, the wonderful God that ever was and ever will be. Thank you, Mr. O.C., for letting me run up my mouth so long.
Thank you very much, Ms. Georgia.
Thank
you very much. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. This whole issue about beach, what has happened in Cayman to a certain extent, you have foreigners, non-Caymanians, who come here with money. You have some who come without money and make it and earn it here.
That's right.
They're coming from societies where the sense of community is not necessarily there. They don't understand about sharing and how we lived in the Cayman Islands before they came. And as a result, they want to exclude people from what they have or what would normally be common to all persons in terms of common usage. They want to exclude people from that. So there are some who have come and gotten more than they expected, and as a result of that, prize that. There are some who come not knowing what our history is all about, what the people of the Cayman Islands are all about, and then, come with their selfish ways as well. We have to take a commercial break. Top of the hour headline news, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 372 COVID-19 tests on Thursday. All came back negative. For the latest COVID vaccination schedule, check out our community events at radiocayman.gov.ky. An alliance between the U.S. and the U.K. should be known as the, quote, indestructible relationship, according to Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, after his meeting with U.S. President Joe Biden. He said he had a, quote, terrific talk with Mr. Biden, who traveled to Cornwall for the G7 Summit of World Leaders. The summit begins later with vaccines and climate change on the agenda. A U.S. Congresswoman is hit back after a rare rebuke from Democratic colleagues over her remarks seeming to liken the U.S. and Israel to Hamas and the Taliban. A dozen Jewish lawmakers called on Ilhan Omar to clarify her words, but the Minnesota representative slammed the group's, quote, tropes. This is not the first time that Ms. Omar's criticism of Israel put her at odds with members of her own party. In 2019, she apologized for implying money was behind support for Israel. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record in the studio with Dr. Steve Macfield. We're attempting to go over the election observers' reports for the election in 2013. We want to go on to the one in 2017 and, of course, the most recent one. Of course, I don't believe that time will allow us to cover all of them. So anything else on equal suffrage before we move on, Doc?
No, I think we covered that.
Okay.
In the one man, one vote recommendations to the government, and that was implemented, and the country moved from five constituencies to 19 electoral constituencies.
Right. Now, as far as those numbers are concerned, do you believe that there will be some generational change later on? In relation to especially the Eastern District's North Side and East End. We're so accustomed to breakers being in Bordentown, but there's no reason why an electoral boundaries commission could not consider incorporating breakers into North Side or into East End as well to boost those numbers up a little bit, because if we wait for a natural occurrence, those numbers, are not likely to get up there in any time soon.
That's probably what will have to take place, because as that area increase in population, and they say that's the fastest growing population in the Cayman Islands, and that Bordentown area. In the Bordentown area, we're not talking about the district.
Yes.
The Bordentown area, we're going to have to look at expanding the boundaries, because we have to do that every 8 years.
Yes,
too.
yes.
Every 8 years, there's a stipulation that we have to do that every 8 years. So we might have to incorporate breakers into either North Side or to East End,
or split it up,
and split that up, because I think when you look at the whole. I'm not talking about the electoral district and the geographical area of Bordentown. That is growing so fast that we're going to even have to expand those boundaries, like Savannah, Newlands, and Bordentown West and Bordentown East.
Okay. Let's look at the other recommendation in terms of the right to vote. It says reducing the required period of residence in the Cayman Islands prior to the registration as an elector could increase the number of registered electors and enhance overall inclusiveness of the electoral process.
I agree with that. I think that the requirements that you have to be you cannot be on the Cayman Islands more than 7 years and
a certain amount of days.
And then during that period of time, you must not be away more than 400 days. Yes. I don't think that's really necessary. I think if once you can prove that you're a Caymanian and that you have a right to vote, you should be able to vote whether you stay away for 5 years or 6 years or 10 years. I think so.
Yeah,
I think so, and I think that arbitrary, and then there's so many. Then there are exceptions to that rule.
Mm-hmm.
You have to prove that you're not away on duties that involves the government. You have to prove that you are attending as a student at an educational establishment.
Yeah, we know about that.
Yes, we know how that went. Or you have to prove that you were a patient at any hospital or clinic or other medical institutions, or that you were a seaman on board a vessel, on a seagoing vessel, or that you were employed in the crew on the aircraft. I don't think all that is necessary. You shouldn't have how to prove all of those things to be able to vote. As long as you're Caymanian, as long as you carry a valid document to say that you're still Caymanian and that you're eligible to vote, you should vote whether you stay away 200 days or 100 days or 500 days or whatever.
Okay, so we're going to place an asterisk by that one because
Yes.
we want to look at future recommendations, see if that was there, and look and see whether or not any changes have been made to
Yes.
Of course, those changes, those requirements in terms of qualification are all enshrined in our Constitution.
That's right.
So it would require constitutional changes,
yes.
For that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look at the next one. The right to stand for elections says that reducing the required period of residence of candidates in the Cayman Islands prior to the date of nomination would open up the universal right to stand for elected office to a larger number of otherwise qualified citizens. A clear legal definition of, quote, his or her own act, close quote, in relation to other citizenship could bring more clarity for the elections office when deciding on eligibility of candidates, as well as for potential candidates when deciding whether to contest elections. Now, we chuckled before when we spoke about whether or not you were away at an educational institution.
Yes.
We have had some legal decisions on this in this area, and of course, based on our common law, that decision is binding and sets precedence, does it?
Well, it's only sets a precedent for Cayman.
Cayman, yes.
It doesn't set a precedent in any other jurisdiction.
Right.
Because in Cayman, it clearly states that it's a first instance decision.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it's a plenary. It's the first court decision, and there's no appeal.
Okay.
And our laws does not allow any appeal. In every other jurisdictions, every other Commonwealth jurisdictions, there's an appeal to an appeal court to settle that matter. That matter is still not settled, and it does not equate with the decisions in other Commonwealth courts.
Mm-hmm.
And in other Commonwealth courts, and so that matter is still up in airs as far as some lawyers are concerned.
Okay,
it's in fact what we say is not a settled decision.
Right, and we continue to see in other jurisdictions as well. We saw it in Jamaica. We saw it. I think it was St. Kitts, some of the Eastern Caribbean countries, in Guyana. Questions in relation to this whole issue of residence, because you have your diaspora who are overseas, who want to return to contest elections, may have acquired citizenship in other countries. So it's not something that's common to Cayman. We have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning to you, Mr. Osi, and good morning to Dr. Steve here. Always very good to hear both of you geniuses combined together.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
And a lot of wealth of knowledge here. Towards the first elections held December 10, 1831, doesn't mention Eastern or North side, nor Cayman Brac.
That's right.
Or Little Cayman side. Don't know. I imagine on that Eastern or North side were represented in Bordentown.
Yeah, they came after. They came after, but the first assembly didn't recognize them, and I guess it was because of the separate what we call it, the isolation.
Isolation, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they came and voted in the Bordentown district. I don't know, but they also came and Brac, Little Cayman. Whether they went over there and held elections amongst them, I don't think so.
No,
maybe they came over here too and voted in Georgetown or Southwest Town. It was because that was Southwest Town and Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
With regards to the issue of the land, access to beaches and so forth, I sometimes often wonder if a lot of that too is due to overzealous realtors and agents, their real estate agents, not fully explaining to people when they're selling this very expensive land all along the beaches. In those days, not explaining fully. Now everything is much more new. Then exactly what they were buying and what can be done and can't be done. I often wonder about that one because we see where there's a lot of very expensive developments being put down and so forth, and the requests to sort of move accesses from one point to the other might be more amenable or acceptable to the public and to themselves or whatever. So I guess that'll continue for a while, but Mr. Clarence's name is very well embedded in our history with land and all that. I remember him quite well, and Mr. Clarence Thompson, and also during the cadastral survey, I think his very accurate drawings of the land boundaries and so forth were accepted.
Yes,
yes. It was very helpful to them because I saw with a couple of it, and I saw where it was clearly defined, northwest, east, north and south and east and west positions and so forth, and wedges of land accurately measured, and it was very important to them also. I agree with you about that thing of moving away from this notion, this nonsense of if a Caymanian is away for 4 or 5 years or 3 years or 500 days or 1,000 days, that they can't vote. That is ridiculous. It's absolutely, I've always disagreed with it. You should be able to vote whether you're 10, 20 years away.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're involved. It's your country. And you're involved. And I see where Great Britain has moved away from that also recently.
Yes.
They had a 15-year thing. I've often thought about with this problem, since I know you don't have much time, discussed out there with having land available for low-cost or ordinary people to be able to build a house and buy and build a house and land provided. I just wondered if the National Trust land, is that specifically for trees and animals, lizards, iguanas?
For preservation.
That's what it's for. It's not for building.
Yes.
And it's not for building. And caller, the problem that we have had and that we still continue to have is vision. We have to have vision of what our country is going to go on. We operate as if this is the last generation, as if this is after. If we don't do it now, everything will fall apart, and we won't be able to get it to do it 10 years from now. We have to have a vision of society, what it's going to be, and what the trends are, and what history tells us that the growth that's going to be for the next 15 or 20 or 100 years. Because if we don't, other people are going to come and buy up the properties, and we are going to be just like we laughed about when I was young and went to the movies and I didn't understand the Indians on the reservations when what they did to them. And they take all the properties and they poured them in one little place where they couldn't grow anything. That's what's going to happen here. And we have to have vision. We have to have land set aside for the next generation, the next 10 years of this children coming out of school. We have to figure out how are they going to buy land, where they're going to live, what kind of roads and what kind of systems they're going to need, and that means vision, because what we have now is individual likes and desires. Individual likes and desires is only for one person. What we need is a vision that encompasses everybody and all things for a number of times. Okay. That's what we need.
I wonder if the National Trust land, I know it's considerable. I think it's way over 3,000 acres and now, maybe over 3,500. This is a big portion of them. Country, well, especially in Grand Cayman, which might be 50-something thousand acres, I guess, 8,000, somewhere around there. If some of it could be used then for farming, and definitely for farming, and then some of the farmland that people might want now to be in times of hardship to sell for to break it up and broker it into some sort of housing scheme or something. If the government couldn't sort of acquire that then and turn the rest of the farmland over at a very cheap price to the farmers for the National Trust, some of the land. I'm not saying all of it at all.
Okay. And
then you'd have a kind of a way to work out of that where the land would be provided at a very low rate.
It'd still be there, but you use it for other purposes.
Well, caller, the thing about us is that we were not a conquered colony. We were a settled colony. That means the land was owned by people who came and settled here. In conquered colonies, most of the land is owned by government. Government owned the land. We are a settled colony, and so what the government should be doing now, with what we see and what we know, we should be buying as much land as we can, and in the land bank for our own people, so that they can have the land when it's necessary. Because in 10 years, if you multiply the amount of people that are being born and that are being graduated from school, and you multiply that for the next 50 years, and you will tell me what's going to happen.
Okay, caller, we have to go to a commercial break. I want to thank you very much. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat. especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. Before we go back to the recommendations of the various election observer missions, just want to say something again about the whole issue of land ownership in the Cayman Islands. Two things that we need to look at is that who can purchase property in the Cayman Islands. Land is a finite commodity. It's finite. We have immigration law and a policy in relation to a person's ability to qualify for permanent residence that they must own property in the Cayman Islands. Now, that can be in the form of an apartment, or it can also be in the form of land. At one point in time, when apartments and condos were not so prominent in the Cayman Islands, it was basically land.
Raw land.
So we're forcing foreigners to come to the Cayman Islands, live here, apply for residency, and they must own property. But we're not necessarily making the property available for our own inhabitants or indigenous inhabitants. That's number one.
And we're not making any more property.
Exactly. So it's finite. And number two, what needs to be considered now, I'm made to understand that the government is looking at having closed categories in terms of where work permits would be issued. Real estate agents, and I know many out there are not going to like this, but real estate agents should be Caymanians. We should not be issuing work permits for foreigners to come into the Cayman Islands to sell property.
Yes.
We have to look at that. Okay, so we're going to switch gears and go back to the recommendations. Here's this one. I'm going to the 2017 one now, and it says, in number one recommendation, it would be important in any review of the Constitution order to consider the continued reasonableness of pertinent provisions, particularly the duration of residency requirements, in light of the mobility of the population of the Cayman Islands and of the contribution made by the diverse expatriate community resident here. I can leave that expatriate community resident here part of it out of it. I'm not going to talk about that because that's going to come up in another point. But here in 2017, this recommendation is made again for the residents. So it was obvious between 2013 and 2017, nothing was done in that regard,
yes.
right? And we know that nothing has been done since when we look at the other one. So anything else that you wanted to say something about this?
I wanted to say something about the 2013 one.
Yes.
It says reducing the period of residence of candidates in the Cayman Islands prior to the date of nomination would open up the universal right to stand for elective office to a larger number of otherwise qualified citizens. Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Yes, yeah.
I agree with that because why should they say if he or she was born outside the Cayman Islands, has resided in the Cayman Islands for a period of amounted to not less than 15 years? Well, if you're born outside the Cayman Islands, but you're Caymanian, and one of your parents or grandparents, if you get Caymanian resident citizenship, as we call it, using that nomenclature, if you get that, and if we qualify, why should we have to wait be resident in the Cayman Islands for 15 years?
Yes.
So if my children or your children are born in Canada or New York, they're Caymanians because of their birth, because you Caymanian. Yeah. Why should they have to come here and wait 15 years before they can stand for the legislative assembly? That's utter nonsense, and that provision should be amended out of the Constitution.
Okay, got you. One caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen. OC and Dr. Maxfield. How you doing?
Good morning, Minister. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm sitting here listening to good preachers preach the good word of the gospel. So I just wanted to say, continue to bring up the topics that are important. Obviously, I'm limited to say much right now because the whole cabinet provision and all that. But I must say, I agree with a lot of you've been saying this morning, particularly that real estate one you just mentioned, OC.
Okay.
But yeah, continue the good work, and I just want you guys to know that at least myself is listening. I'm quite sure many other members are listening as well.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister.
Okay. Let's look at the 2013 one. Independent Election Management Body. Establishing an independent election management body with independent budgetary financing could further increase the public confidence in the election process. A broad public and political consensus would be needed to define the qualification criteria, selection process, and terms of reference for the members of such independent body.
I agree.
But you agree with that part that, yes, you would want to need a broad consensus on it, but I don't believe that it would be difficult to find consensus on that.
No, I don't believe, because, for instance, if there's an independent election commission, you have people like you probably on it. OC
or Corina Gomez,
and all those people on it. And why should the election of the populace still come under the executive branch of government? Why should that be so? Why should a governor have the right to appoint an election, a chief? What's he? A chief election?
Is the election supervisor?
Election supervisor. It should be election commission. It should be away from him. It should be away from the governor. It should be something that's independent. And there should be provision for it in the Constitution as well as those other institutions that safeguard democracy in our country. And it should not be subject to one person. It should be an election commission, and people like yourself who has spent many years in the electoral system could be on a commission. And as it says that a broad public and political consensus would be needed to define the qualification criteria. I don't think that would be a difficult to hear.
Okay, so we, I'm going to want you to look at that 2017 sheet, Dr. Maxfield.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to this one on the right to vote. The right to vote, it says reduce. Under the 2013 one, it said reducing the required period of residence in the Cayman Islands prior to the registration as an elector could increase the number of registered electors and enhance overall inclusiveness for the election process, right? No, I think I've...
Your right to vote.
Yeah. I think I've gone too far down.
The 2017 recommendations?
Yep. What does that say?
Recommendation 5 says the underlying process of voter registration could be changed, replacing the active system, which requires positive steps to be taken by citizens to be included in the register of electors, with a passive system linked perhaps to a broader review of the process of civic registration. So, the right to vote, the right to vote, I unfortunately should only be for Caymanians, people who are, and that brings me to the next question of what we have been avoiding all along. I know that we're not a country, we're not an independent country, but Caymanian should be defined better than it's defined now. because the Constitution say Cayman is what it is in the
immigration law.
On the immigration law.
Yes.
There should be a definition of Caymanian that everybody can know what it is when you are Caymanian, not what the immigration law says it should be. It should be in the Constitution what a Caymanian is. And therefore, the right to vote should only be for those people who are Caymanians. It should not be extended to people who come here and get permanent residence, because this is what is recommending. This is what this is recommending.
Yes. And all in the name of increasing the numbers.
All increasing the numbers. And I definitely do not go for that. And I hope the government doesn't buy that and turn that recommendation down. Recommendation should not be for people, because when you go to America and you get a green card, and you go to those places, you are not able to vote until you become a citizen of the countries. And every country has that in their constitution, mostly. Every modern country has that.
And when we compare these two recommendations, notice the right to vote on the 2013 one basically has to do with the period of residency.
That's right.
But in 2017, that observer mission went farther.
Yes, right.
And talked and spoke about not just the residency, but who should have the right to vote as well. And to me, I believe that they were really stepping out of their bounds when that is for
that is for us to decide.
That's for us to decide.
Not for them to recommend.
Exactly.
Not for them to recommend. That's for us to decide.
We have a caller on hold, but we have to take a commercial break first. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
Health City is now open at Camana Bay, offering a wide range of specialties at our state-of-the-art Camana Bay Clinic. We are here to help you save time and feel better. We are open weekdays, weekends, and evenings for your convenience, and are dedicated to reducing your wait time while improving your health. Friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics in one convenient location from the hospital you know and trust. Health City at Camana Bay, within your reach.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield, one caller and whole caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Good morning again.
One question, just going to ask two quick questions. Hang on.
Okay.
Was that one about residents, people not being what we term as Caymanians, being able to vote? I'm absolutely against that. And I think, Dr. Steve, you're right. I've often said it. When people call into the radio station over and over and over, many people, when they say Caymanian, we know exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about generational Caymanians. I think the time has come, and I've said it over and over, to clearly define it can be done. they're talking about people who know their parents and grandparents are Caymanians, born Caymanians and so forth. But I think it never should be that you could just vote in a country without being a citizen. And I don't think we should be defined by immigration law. The other thing I just asked quickly, and I've often thought about this, we mentioned it before, I think it's time for us to bend the Constitution some more. We can always bend it a little bit as we know, move it forward, more autonomy, to choosing our judges who shall be a magistrate. I think that the 19 elected representatives, the voice of the people elected by the people, should be able to sit and choose. If you want to have a commissioner, whatever you want to call it, out of a certain amount of them, do it, but should be able to choose and have a say in the choice of who will become a magistrate here. And also, the first preference should be given again to what I just said, generational Caymanians who can be qualified as magistrates to be appointed as magistrates. We are sitting before, when you go to court, a jury of your peers. Nothing wrong with a jury of a judge being one of the peers or one of and falling into that category. So I just wondered what you all think about that, whether it's for another time or whatever.
Okay.
But I do think that should be, I personally feel it should be the way forward. We must have a say in this matter.
Okay.
Thank
you very much. Doc, I'm going to leave that to you, recognizing that you're also an officer of the court, so you're limited in terms of, what you can say about the court.
I'm limited in terms of what I can say, but perhaps we could do that. We could discuss that another day when we give me some time to look at that, because we already have a Judicial Service Commission which appoints and which clears the way and appoints magistrates and judges in our society, and unless we scrap that and go to another system, I think that system is in force now. But perhaps the next point that we are going to look at under the 2013 recommendation would include some information about what the caller just said. And if you could read that, or it says voter and civic education.
Right? It says a comprehensive and effective voter and civic education program carried out well in advance of any electoral event would ensure that all citizens are informed about all necessary elements of the election process, starting from registration of electors to the precise location of polling stations and voting modalities.
I think that is great. I know the Minister Bryan is listening, and this is for his heirs. I would be happy if the government or a government or the government or a government would implement some sort of a system, an organization or a vehicle where you and I could get together and we could start to have a comprehensive, effective civic education program. I could talk about and explain the provisions of the constitutions and how they are applied, and how they are and how they are and how they are compared with constitutions in other Commonwealth jurisdictions and other overseas jurisdictions, and you could speak comprehensively about how the electoral system works, and all of that stuff, and perhaps out of that could come some sort of booklet, and which we could give to school children, and which we could give to the ordinary members of the public, including people who live in Cayman. Of course, they would have to pay us for it, They would have to pay us for our time, but I think that would be something that you and I could do readily. We wouldn't have to go to study how to do that. We would just have to put all the material together, and you and I could go on a speaking tour to high schools and to schools and to district town halls and so forth. And I'm asking the minister if he thinks that that's a good idea. Or perhaps if he could back that.
Yep. We do have a caller, I think, Paul. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, Ossie.
Morning. How are you?
Not too bad, and Steve.
Good morning.
I just want to make a comment on Steve's comment last Wednesday about the extending the talk show. I totally agree with him because it seems like the talk show, in the talk show world, it's dying. So I'm kind of a bit concerned if something was to happen to you, what is going to happen? Because to tell you the truth, I enjoy listening to you guys in the morning, or perhaps 5 days a week would be a lot better. Okay. But I do enjoy listening the 3 days that you're on, and I kind of look forward to it.
Thank you.
Because I like a little heated argument every now and then. I don't like things to be going like, we're always going to, a function or something like that. Where I like a little bit of excitement in it, and that's always been the way I am. So I'm a little bit concerned because the talk shows are dying. And I think there's a lot of other people that kind of look forward to, listening to you guys in the morning. But you're about the only one there left now that, as far as I'm concerned, while listening to.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue to try to keep it going as long as we can.
Well, that's a bit comforting, but,
can't be here forever.
Yes.
I think a couple of days extra that Steve talked about, I think would be, I don't know whether you have a problem with that, or is it Radio Cayman? They want to cater for it, or I don't know.
Okay.
But,
we'll see what happens with that. There are always possibilities.
Yes.
Some people have talked about having a show in the evening when people are driving home.
That's
and,
right.
Doing that as well. So there are possibilities out there. As long as there's a receptive audience. Caller, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.
For that. Any other callers? One more caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Yeah, I just want to remind the two of you that there are lots of us out here that have taught history and civics.
Mm-hmm.
I was a teacher in the Cayman Brac High School, teaching history and civics. When I was an education officer, I made sure that civics was taught in primary schools. Now, I believe that we need to look at the curriculum to ensure that this is part of a compulsory subject. And that we have to get the facts right, because a lot of us can go in and say that we are talking about Cayman, and my memory is very sharp, and I remember a lot of things, and sometimes people are not really saying the accurate information that I was part of. And I wanted to, and I agree with Steve that we should put a document together, but we should be a little more selective on people who are willing to tell the facts straight, because a lot of our history books that were written do not tell the facts straight.
I agree.
And if that is what we are going to use, then God help us. We don't want to talk about our history of emancipation and slavery and poverty and being downtrodden. We don't want to talk about those things. But we have to be able to bring forward so that we know where we are now. I'll volunteer myself as well, because I think I'm very I can, and also I know others who will be willing to work with both of you, because I believe that we as Caymanians, there are a lot of educated Caymanians in my country, and we have to use them all to know what they know. If you don't ask them, they won't know. You won't get them. And in particular, to help you with the radio program, which I think is very good, and Steve and Dr. Maxfield, to make sure that we broaden the base broaden our knowledge base on our Caymanian, or Caymanianists, or as my friend would say, our generation of Caymanians. So I want to propose that we ask Mr. Maxfield to put a proposition to the whichever minister it is, who the Minister of Culture, I believe it is, that we have to deal with, and to also the Minister of Tourism, because we need to tell the people who come here about the right stuff too of us. So I agree with that, and I also want to say to Mr. Maxfield that we have to, in terms of the getting political information, and I use political in a broad sense. This is the party structure as well, you know. If we had a proper party structure and 2 or 3 parties in here, I think people's knowledge base would be better than what we have now. You know?
Of course, hooray! And it's because people have not been educated, and they have not been educated about how that system works, what the benefit of it, and it has always been a bogeyman, the same as full internal self-government has been a bogeyman. And of course, the greatest bogeyman of all is the big I word.
That's right. You know, and Mr. Steve, as long as you have breath, you keep pushing those things. You know, you come out, I admire your age, and I'm getting there too. That you, as one of our seniors, can come out and talk, and we have more seniors that should come out and talk.
Yep.
So, OC, it might be better to bring out some of the older persons that are retired. We have a lot of we have retired lawyers now. We have retired doctors. We have retired teachers. We have retired people that now, when I was growing up, it wasn't so. But now we have a lot of educated retired Caymanians.
Yeah, that's right.
We must use them.
Yes.
We must use them, and we must be proud that they can come on the radio and talk.
Yep.
You know, and not talking things that are not so. You know, and I'm glad you brought this subject up. And OC, I forgot that you were in my age group too.
Well, Miss Lucille, age is only a number. That's all it is. As long as you're physically able and you're mentally strong, the age doesn't mean anything. Age is only a number. Age a number, and as long as you remain physically and mentally indestructible, like you are, your wife would always be, and your wife is strong like Miss Georgette's.
Yes.
Yeah, but we have to be. Listen, sometimes we are not totally right, you know, but we must be courageous.
Yes.
To say something. Because if we don't say something, somebody else will say it for us.
Okay. Miss Lucille, I want to thank you very much for that. We've gone back past our commercial break.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. No problem. No problem. We do have a caller on hold as well. We will take that caller as soon as we return, so please stay tuned.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center. The Cayman Islands Seafarers Association wishes to inform all members that there will be a quarterly social on Tuesday, 15 June at 7 p.m. in the Seafarers Hall, 11 Victory Avenue, Prospect. 3 buses will leave from West Bay Town Hall at 6 p.m. The bus marked Bobo $1 public transport and is blue in color will do pickups from British Caymanian, Uncle Bill's, Walker's Road, Shedden Road, and Crew Road. The bus from East End will do pickups at the school parking, gas station, and wreck of the 10 Sails starting at 5:45. North side pickups at Chisholm Store and the soccer field starting at 6:15. Boddentown pickups at Lorna's gas station at 6:45 and Savannah pickups at the gas station at 7 p.m.
I'm going back to the rack again. Cameron Brock and Little Cayman.
Fridays, 3 to 4 p.m. Brought to you by Jimmy D's Poolside Bar at the Alexander Hotel.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve Macfield. We have less than 10 minutes to go. We have 4 callers on hold. If each caller is as brief as possible, we will be able to accommodate all 4 callers. Let's start with the first caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning, guys. I hope you guys are well.
Fine, thanks.
Very well, yes.
Yeah, I know you guys said I have to be brief, so I just wanted to touch on the point that I heard you guys talking when it comes to I consider it to be the right jobs for Caymanians, because you guys brought up the real estate market. You guys are 100% right. It should be Caymanians that are in there showing off these properties. Who knows this land better than Caymanians? Come on. So I think government definitely needs to look into that and trying to get these, because what I see a lot happening is that they try to train Caymanians for these petty jobs. And I don't want to use that term, but yeah. They because no self-respecting Caymanian is going to go out there in today's economy and look for a job where they can make $7.50 an hour, knowing that they have bills to come home to, like kids and whatever else that they might be facing. It's not going to happen. We need to make sure we secure like good jobs for Caymanians, because in these accounting firms, I bet you rarely see any Caymanians in there. And I'm not saying it's an easy task to be an accountant, but I'm sure that we have Caymanians that would like to be and possess the skill set to do so, but they need the right training. You know, Caymanians have aspirations too, and we would like to enjoy this land the way I see some people come here enjoying it, having a home in less than a year.
Yep.
You know? So, I just wanted to touch on that. Try to secure the good jobs for them, the managerial jobs, because I'm pretty sure these big corporations like cost you less, and that, I just want to name one. I don't want to name too many and purge any companies like that. But, you know, the managerial jobs, I'm more than sure that there are Caymanians suitable for those positions here, but they get belittled sometimes. They're treated as if they're not competent enough to manage those positions.
Okay.
And they are. You know?
Thank you very much, caller. Good point that you made there. And in saying that as well, we also want to encourage Caymanians to continue to get themselves qualified as well. Let's go to the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning.
How are you guys doing?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Okay. I'm good. I'm not going to ask my good friend.
Oh, Mr. Morgan.
How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thanks. I know time is not on my side, but the lady just a few callers back was talking about like our history the anticipation and so on. Like if I understand it right, like we don't want to talk about it, or we should talk about it. What I want to say to you, gentlemen, this morning, we got what I call a modern day history that's going on right now. Just a few days ago, you hear him talk about a man, a West Bay resident or something, who was arrested for guns or something.
Yes.
Why why not call those people, regardless of who they are, where they're from? This is my contention. You're living in West Bay, but where are you from? Are you West Bay? Are you Caymanian? Come on, bring it out of the shell. We want to see who these people are, man. You know, they always put a smudge over this. No. Not everything is happening in West Bay or Eastern or Georgetown are Caymanians. So whoever do these things, especially when it comes to crime, they should be bothered and enlightened and identified where they are from. So that's all I want to say, gentlemen, but I hope it's taken with the context I want it to be.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, fine. I appreciate you get squeeze the evening show during the week. It makes sense, logical. And I don't shift from the topic, right? My philosophy from morning, age is a number. Yeah, I've been there, done that. And what we talk about now, 2 days of Printer. It came out to become a republic or independent, right? Would those observer the convention will be partly or short, right? Exactly. And what we talk about now, the tacit connection going on now with the G7, right? In UK now, right? The Atlantic trade we go through. And different that Biden is kind of contemplated with Ireland continental IRA, the complexity of it. You understand? Ramifications interconnected. And what we talk about now, obviously the Democrats is not fond of Cayman. We know that from morning. So I hope the finance world be tactic with that. Gentlemen, have a good weekend.
Thank you very much, Rambo. Last caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning,
ma'am. How are you?
It's good. Thanks for taking my call, gentlemen. Alice May, co-wearing my chairman of the Concerned Citizens Group hat.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and it is really encouraging the judgment that was handed down on Wednesday the 9th to do with rights away to the beaches, etc. And we feel vindicated to a great extent because this is what we've been fighting for, and we have been proven right. A judge has found that these rights go with the land and they stay with the land. It doesn't matter who owns them. So now we are expecting that this 1,174-page beach access report that was done in 2017, which of course started off in 2003 from the affidavits and rights away that we had brought to their attention at that time. But in that 1,174-page report, you look at all the maps there. Every single right-of-way, path, track to the beaches, etc., are shown on that. So to me, that means government and the surveyors at that time acknowledge, yes, these are here. We've got them. Here's the proof. We found the markers, and they've surveyed everything. And that survey report alone should be sufficient for our present government or past government now to take the ball and run with it and develop a policy or pass whatever. I'm not too much in government terms. A policy saying, get these things registered. You have investigated and you've got them all in this report. Let's make sure that everyone is there that we should have and register them so we can get rid of this unrest and dissatisfaction of the general public, because we have opened our arms and welcomed everybody. And now they're telling us, stay off of my beach. It's not your beach. You can't get there. And I think this is a wonderful time, and I look forward to reading the complete ruling, as I'm sure you gentlemen have done or will be doing, and that we'll be hearing a lot more about this in the very near future.
Shukla, and Miss
Thanks
Alice
very
May,
much for keeping it alive.
And Miss Alice May, I'm sure that I'm speaking on behalf of my colleague here now, that he might want to invite one of you on his show after you have read the judgment here to see to hear your views of what you think about it.
Okay.
Yes. it won't be next week or anything because we want to digest it.
Sure. And you know, as time.
But in the meantime, I'm sure this issue will be kept alive because this is a godsend to us concerned citizens. This is what we've been fighting for.
Yes.
This is why we tried not to lose our West Bay Road, which would take away the accesses. And everywhere we turn, there's some structure being put up to prevent us from getting to the beach, as if we are aliens, and I mean from outer space, not even any other country.
Yes.
We've had enough, and let's all work together in harmony for the right cause. For the people of the Cayman Islands, or visitors, or investors, everybody. But let's be fair. Thanks very much. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, Doc, on that 13 mission report, there are things that we haven't covered, but I will basically enumerate them for our audience. We had, so we ended at voter and civic education. Campaign financing is another thing that they addressed.
Yes.
Treating of electors, something else, and that came up in the last election also. Regulation of the media during election. The secrecy of the vote, still an issue to a certain extent. Voter identification as well. Assisted voting, mobile voting, postal voting, and the issue of domestic observers. And on the one, in relation to domestic observers, it says that establishing an institute of domestic observers independent from the elections office with clearly defined rights, responsibilities, and accreditation requirements in the elections law would increase the public oversight and confidence of the election process. Now, what we have to, Paul, I'm going to go over just a little bit. What we have to bear in mind that some of these recommendations have to do with changes to the elections law, whilst others have to do with changes
to the Constitution.
To our Constitution.
Yes.
And those to the Constitution are extremely, extremely important, and they're the ones that really require action, more action than anything else, by our legislators as well. We saw in the past where feel-good issues like changing the name of our legislative assembly to a parliament, that we sought that in our constitutional changes. Those are cosmetic changes, the changes that we need that make a difference in terms of people's lives, their rights and responsibilities, are the issues that need to be addressed in our Constitution. What say you about that, Doc?
Yes, and before you go, please allow me.
Sure.
Allow me to say that one of the things that a lot of people are talking about now, and people have asked me about, is why is it taking so long to get the Section 119 of the Constitution implemented? District councils. Why is it taking so long to get those up and running? And that is something that we don't need to change. That is something that's already here, and we need to get those to give the average person more say in the democratic process of the country. And that should be something that we should speak about whenever we have a chance to come back again with you and to finish these recommendations, because they are very, very, very important.
Yes, and they're varied to a certain extent. So when we look at the 2017 one, there are some things that are mentioned there that are not in the other one, and I'm sure that when we look at the most recent one,
the 2021 one, they're more profound.
Exactly. But what the whole exercise here is meant to identify those recommendations that have not been acted upon yet, try to determine why they have not been acted upon, and also to advocate for those recommendations, those that are that we agree on and that are implementable, that they should be done as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Have a great, great holiday weekend. And for the record, we'll be back on God's willing next week, Wednesday. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh. Health City, now open at Camana Bay 7 days a week.
The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.